Today's video is for Garden Tours Saturday, which is hosted by Grandma Sandy and co-hosted by Suffolk Susie, Patrician Cube 394, and Growing on Vancouver Island, as well as Survival Seeds 2025, hosted by the Vineyard Chicks, and co-hosted by Bushcraft Farms. I live in an apartment, but I have a pretty good sized balcony, and this is where I'll be growing my garden. Come on inside with me, and we'll start with my micro-dwarf tomatoes. Okay, this one is called a Tiny Tim, and it's a dwarf, not a micro-dwarf. So it will get quite a bit bigger, maybe up to 3 feet tall. It does have a lot of blossoms on it, but I think they're all hidden right now. There's some, and here's some. And I have this one growing in an empty paint can that I had left over after I painted my bathroom. This one, I'm not really sure what this one is. It seems to be a dwarf. It is maybe 11 inches tall. Oh, it's warm. It's getting buds on and drying up, which is what they have been doing on me all winter long. I'm not sure why. If you know why, please let me know. This one is called an orange hat, and that was the first micro-dwarf tomato that I got to eat. I had started some from seed, but I found this one at the farmer's market. This is actually from one of the seeds that I took out of that first one. And this one is called a carrot mini. I forget what color the tomato is going to be, but the leaves are kind of light and small like a carrot. It doesn't look as much like a tomato. Like, see how big these leaves are? Now look at how tiny these little ones are. And as you can see, the ends are drying up on here too. It's got buds on it. Although this one, I noticed was drooping this morning, and I moved it to a different pot and gave it fresh water, and I tied it up because it was hanging down. Then over here we have some plants that I started on March 2nd. We have curly kale, the Anaheim pepper, which I don't expect to do anything. I think that was from a green pepper. I'm really impressed with this. This is really hard to grow. It's peppermint. The seeds that came up were about the size of a head of a pin. They're quite a bit smaller. Actually, if you look really close near the bottom of the camera, see right there? There are 3 more plants coming up. That's about what they are when they come out. Over here we have some red Russian kale. Here's my jalapeno pepper. It looks like there's 3 more popping up there. This is the orange bell pepper I planted from seed in the beginning. And here's a Roma tomato that I started from seed. These are, what are they called? Spoon tomatoes. They're called spoon tomatoes because you can fit 20 of them on the bowl of a spoon. This is a Joculus micro-dwarf tomato, and I planted that later. I am starting to see second leaves on this kale. This is white Russian kale, and I had a lot of luck with that last year. It was pretty good too. And I'm seeing second leaves on a couple of these, and these are kind of, it's a kale, but I don't, lacinato kale. It looks more like lettuce usually, and it's very good in a salad. You can eat it raw. The curly kale that you usually get from the store, I don't like that in a salad. It's just too tough for me. And we have some more micro-dwarf tomatoes. And here we have thyme. I probably should have covered those. I would expect to see something happening there since they're not even covered. And here I have my parsley, sage, and rosemary. And I started, these seeds are basil. In here I have started some impatiens. I'm kind of on the shady side of the building, and this morning I noticed, this is my seeds from my Roma seeds that I started from survival seeds. And it looks like one is poking through the ground. And over here we have several peppers poking through the ground. I cut off the end of my celery and I started that. I always like to do that. It's looking a little dry on the ends. I have it in hydroponic solution at the moment. Here's my onions from survival seeds. And I planted them in a seed snail. I was excited to hear about that because I actually got quite a few in there for such a small space. Oh, and it looks like there's something coming up there. What is this? That's my oregano. Nice. Oh, lots of stuff in this one. What is this? That is my hyssop. It's a little touchy, but it came up. Nothing coming up there. And I think something's coming up there. I don't know. Might just be my eyes. Last fall, I ended up with some white mildew in all of my African violets. So I ended up cutting off the leaves and I put them in water and they got roots. I managed to pot a few of them up. Still got a few more to go. And these are already claimed by somebody on Buy Nothing. Okay, and here's one of my orchids, and here's the other one. There were 4. One was in bloom, and it had a nice white flower with a yellow throat that looked kind of like a daffodil. But that one died, and so did one of the others. The other 2 have not bloomed. I have no idea. The person that gave them to me had no idea. This is my bright pink Christmas cactus. It didn't bloom this year. You have to pick off the leaves and fertilize it in order to get it to bloom. And this one is a pale pink Christmas cactus. And these are some of the branches that broke off when I was bringing them home. I put them in a wicking container and they've been doing great. I was told that you couldn't wick these, but I think I can. I need to put my kohlrabi in one of these and my rutabaga in the other. In here, I have started my onion seeds from survival seeds, and my beets are in there. It still freezes at night around here, and we're getting snow later this week. So I'm keeping them covered under plastic. Now, I have started them, or I should say I've started beets under this plastic in the past, and I was successful with it. I didn't start it quite as early as I did this year. I'm planning to put my jalapeno pepper in here and my Roma tomato in here. I haven't really decided what's going in here. This branch will be going up over here. I like to hang my flowers there. Anything above this railing is a flower, and anything below it is food. In this spot, I have stacking towers from the Dollar Tree. And I like to put them here because when I come out in the morning, I need to turn them 1/3 of the turn. Because as you can see, they're only going to get sunlight from the one direction. And I found last year that just turning them each day worked great. Up there we have wasp nest. This has some mint in it. I'm hoping that comes back. I don't know if it will. I'm probably going to put some gazania in here in these glass jars in hydroponics. I don't want to buy a lot more dirt. And we've got some pots here that I don't know what to do with. We have my dog who loves to sit out here and watch the world go by. Here's my chair where I usually sit. I'm not going to plant anything on the ground right there. That's for us. But what I do is hang things on the top of the railing and hang it over, and they can grow on the other side. And here we've got some empty pots and things. I'm planning to paint this floor. I've got some empty water bottles that I'll be using for water. And there's my chives in there. I'm thinking I'm going to move this rack over on the other side. And you see my trees there? I hang things on that. In that corner, I'm planning to put my spoon tomato. I heard they grow pretty big, so it may end up climbing up there. And then right there, I'm going to plant a yellow pear tomato. The last time I planted one, it grew in one of these milk bottles or water bottles, and it grew to be about 4 feet tall and 4 feet wide, and it gave me oodles of sweet little yellow tomatoes. I'd like some more of those. This year on my stackers, I'm thinking of doing 2 of the towers. I usually stack them in piles of 4. So 2 of those stacks of 4 are going to have microdwarf tomatoes. And on the other one, I'm going to put herbs in. And you can see that cooler over there. I made that into a compost bin. This one, I have things stored in here, and I didn't realize it, but I stored seeds out there. I don't think those are any good. I'm going to try germinating, see. In the past on those stackers, I have put bush beans, and last year I planted a package of beans that said that they were Blue Lake bush beans, but they climbed and they dried out, and I think they actually may have been navy beans. So, and let's see, one of those, the hook on the left and the hook on the right is where I will be putting my hummingbird feeders, and then I'll plant a few things on this post too. This bin is where I plan to put my beans, and I'm going to put a couple more hooks there and make a trellis out of plastic bags that I crochet and put it there. And let's see, over there you can see that little creek that shows up in a couple of my videos here and there. It's usually filled with ducks, and I don't know why, if they just treated the water for mosquitoes or something. There haven't been ducks in there for days. I don't know why, but there usually is, and there was last week. I don't know where they went. We've got that big tree. That yard was a mess before the people that moved in down there. Really worked hard, took care of it. Did real nice with that yard. And you see over here, if you look between the trees where they're higher and lower, the evergreen trees off in the distance, I can usually see fireworks there from the State Fair Park. I live that close to the State Fair Park. Well, that's the end of this week's garden tour. Thanks for watching, and I hope you like, share, and subscribe so you can see more. Bye now.